Hannah Oli Pop Rock Radio. Estás escuchando Jamie Roxx de Pop Rock Radio. Manténganse al tanto.
Hej, det här är Hits från Sverige och vi lyssnar till Pop Rock Radio med Jamie Roxx.
So, good morning, Jamie. How are we doing?
Good. How you doing, Mr. Phillips?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic. I got to tell you, you're a little bit of a guilty secret around our house because I'm in South Florida. I moved here about 10 years ago, met my wife, we got married. She grew up here. So her and her whole family pretty much worship at the Temple of Disney. You know, they're those types of people. And it was so funny when this process started. My brother-in-law, Will, they had a family, we all had a family dinner the other night. And I took him aside and I said, I don't think I'm going to bring this up at dinner tonight, but I got to tell somebody because it's so cool. I said, I'm going to get to talk to one of the guys in the new Mousetrap movie. And he's like, yeah, I don't know if I'd bring that up at dinner. I said, no, I'm the good son-in-law. I won't do it. But until they really annoy me, then it's
time to bring it. Yes,
that's right.
That's good timing at that point. Yes,
the Irish heavy gun. What an idea. Let me ask you, though, you wrote this and you also starred in, we're talking about Mousetrap or The Mousetrap. I know there's been some name changes and whatnot in regards to IMDb and whatnot, which I'm frankly would be surprised if there wasn't, you know. But did you just wake up one morning and say, a serial killer in a Mickey Mouse mask?
Well, it wasn't quite that complex. It was straightforward. But I'm sure you heard of the Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, wow, that's a great idea. Maybe not a great movie, but certainly a great idea. So when I heard that Mickey Mouse was coming into public domain in 2024, this is back a year ago now, I was like, oh, we should totally do Mickey Mouse sort of serial killer type thing. And I pitched the idea to Jamie Bailey, the director, and well, he loved it. And he thought it was crazy. It was ridiculous. And he goes, okay, we're going to, I was like, hey man, the only value here is being first to do it. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. And we did it, but we started filming it, of course, before the public domain thing came into effect, so that when January 1st rolled around, we actually had the trailer ready to drop of the finished movie. So as soon as it came into public domain, we were like, here you go.
Nice.
And I was amazed that we were the only people that did it. Because like Blood and Honey, the Winnie the Pooh movie would have surely given other filmmakers ideas to do the same sort of thing, bearing in mind their success on that. So I was amazed that we were the only people that tackled this. Now there's a bunch of people saying that they're going to make Mickey Mouse horror movies, but they're only doing that because
on your coattails, yeah.
On the coattails, because the safety that we provided them by Disney not suing us.
Right. Yeah.
That's all that they care about. So now they're all like, yeah, we're going to do our own.
These are the best party that we can throw.
I've seen some rejections in my time, but man, that was a lot.
There's blood all over the jungle gym.
Blood?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like completely in love with me already. It's totally disgusting.
Put the phone down! Put the phone down, please!
I was like, dude, I've already stopped.
No, Gina, turn around, please, Gina!
I'll be right back. And he's dead.
What?
Like if he was in a horror movie, you'd never say, I'll be right back. Because then you don't.
Where the hell did he go?
come on, but
Us
really
too.
watching me, Amy.
I love it. I love it. Well, and it's one of those ideas. I have a whole mental file of that's labeled, I wish I would have thought of that, because all the time I see it, My day job, I'm a painter. I paint pictures of people and stuff, and that's how I make my living. But I'll hear a line in a song or a line in a movie or a movie idea, and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. But because if you do it now, I don't want to be one of those guys that you're talking about, these Johnny come latelys.
Well, no, I've definitely had that. Even like, I mean, I've had a few crazy ideas, but I think everybody has ideas as well. I'm more guilty of the other thing. I have an idea and then don't do anything with it.
Ah,
So, which is worse than not thinking of it to begin with. Because you're like, you're like, I was thinking of that. And then somebody else goes and does it. And my worst fear is I got a big mouth. So I tell the ideas.
come on.
Good idea is, I'm definitely, by the way,
I can't believe that.
I wound up in being in movies. So, yeah.
I was going to say you're in showbiz.
I know.
You never see that. No, I'm kidding. Let me ask you, speaking of showbiz, now I was looking at your IMDb bio and it says you're from Ireland.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you grew up over there. Did you know that, movie star, particularly movie villain, was down the road for you? Or
I did probably that small little boy in the west of Ireland probably didn't know that. So, I was a great lover of movies. It all seemed very mad. I'm in the 1980s, baby. So, before cell phones and all that stuff.
Right. Me too.
And going to the theater was a big, the movie theater was a big treat. I didn't do it all the time, certainly, but I mean, I got captivated certainly by those screen pictures, sort of Superman and all that magic of cinema, like that happens in that era of filmmaking. That was definitely me. And as a young teenager, Jurassic Park and Terminator.
Oh, yeah.
These huge movies, like iconic sort of in the landscape of movies in those eras. Yeah, I mean, I was there for them and the cinema, sort of. So I didn't know that. My mother was actually was a bit of a frustrated actress. Like she was an actress, but she didn't really get her shot at, so she never really got enough time to do it. So I always see this as me sort of fulfilling out a sort of dream that I guess my mother had that she never got the opportunity to fill out. So I don't know, I kind of do it in her name.
As long as one of the Phillips is doing it, it's all good. Everybody can fit in the infinity pool,
Exactly.
Plenty of room. That's cool, man. That is cool. No, I know what you're talking about. I'm the same age, the same vein. It was such a cool time. And I don't know. I mean, movies were such a part of our family's entertainment, Indiana Jones, all of it,
Yeah.
And even going with the rise of video rental, the whole family would go and like everybody would pick out a movie or two and for the weekend. And it was a whole thing. I don't know, I thought we were big shots, our family, when we got the home VHS player. I think we got a Betamax first, but yeah, I mean, that was movies in our house that aren't broadcast. I mean,
I know that was a big step, definitely.
Oh.
And I mean, I'm sure that you were the guys were the same. The Blockbuster video trip on a Friday night. Had to be there early so you get some of the good movies. That was all. And before the internet, you had to just sort of read the VHS cover. You had to kind of work out. You couldn't really watch on demand a trailer. If you'd seen it, you were lucky. If you see, sort of, but you couldn't really watch it on demand. So you had to just kind of go, okay, I'm gonna guess, sort of you
absolutely
to pick 2 movies for the weekend, sort of. Yeah, that was
absolutely. I had 3 sisters too, so you had risk. You're like, oh, I got to get something cool before all this romance.
That's the problem. If you have siblings and female, yeah.
Now, and again, I don't know. When you're a 12-year-old boy, you don't want to watch a romance.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. You want to rent Terminator, Indiana Jones, as you say, Independence Day. You want something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's cool. So you're living in Southern California now, LA area? You're still over?
Where Annie is.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Canada. Which is where the movie was filmed in. Sorry, I should probably shout this out as well. The movie's filmed in Ottawa, in Canada, which is
nice.
Canada, right? So a cool place called Fun Haven, which is an amusement park or an arcade. So it's a real arcade, so that we managed to persuade them to let us film in. Although we had to film at night, so we had to,
Right.
it was all
After
night.
hours.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
It's when an arcade looks the best, you know what I mean? Because all the lights are, it's like Vegas for
Yeah.
kids, you know.
Jamie loved all the sort of neon and the arcade light that it provided. And what he didn't like was the sound. I'm sure you've been to arcades. The sound, all those machines make a lot of noise. So we had to go around and work out how to mute them because we wanted the lights on, but no sound, so that you could hear the actors talking, So
Absolutely.
that was a bit of a nightmare for a bit.
Oh, man. Well, it's cool. It's cool. I have not finished the movie, so ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. There will be no spoilers because I want to see the rest of it. I got about, I'd say, 3/4 of the way through last night. Amazing. Tip of the hat to your guys' generic space scroll at the beginning of the movie. I didn't want to reference any other movie.
That is space scroll. We don't. It's nothing else. Let's not get Simon in any more trouble with Disney than he needs to be. They told us that we had to have a disclaimer at the beginning, so Jamie went away and came up with that. So I was like, "Hey, this is the lawyers telling us we had to do it." So I was like, "Well, there you go."
It's hilarious. It's hilarious, and it works. I can't imagine Disney. And I can't speak for them, of course, but in my opinion, I can't imagine this the ginormous Lovecraftian entity that is Disney Corp, being too concerned with this,
do you know what? Here's something. Number one, I love Disney. But Disney Plus, so I watch everything Disney make. I don't think, people are like, oh, they're going to, there's going to, as a number one, I don't think Disney are the bully that I don't think they're too concerned, number one. And number two, I don't think they have a bully type mentality. Even though people go, oh, Disney got a lot of lawyers. You're like, yes, but not, I don't really think in our direction. I know what they're saying. I'm not saying they don't have lawyers, but I don't think they're the monster that sometimes people try to portray them to be. And also at the heart of Disney's, listen, you're from a Disney with a work area, worship the monster of Disney. The heart of Disney's principles is sort of, fun and creativity and playing, in all honesty, mate, that's exactly what we were doing with the movie. We're just having fun, being creative and playing with the character that's now in public domain, so we're not that different, Disney and I.
Absolutely. And you guys are kind of in the same business in the fact that artistically, there's a reason people go on roller coasters. They like being scared. They like that adrenaline rush. Same thing with horror movies. They want that jolt, they need it.
Well, that's horror movies I always say are the cartoons for adults. Because when you're young, right, you have cartoons and that entertains you. When you're adults, cartoons don't entertain you the way that they did when you were kids. Yes, you should enjoy them, but it's not the same. I was like, so we have horror movies because that's adult escapism. That's it's pure fantasy or science fiction. It's pure escapism. It's not real. At no point is it real, but it's fun to get involved in it for a little bit. It's fun even to be scared by it.
Get the Willies. Everybody has a plan. I love watching horror movies with my friends because everybody's like, well, you know what I would do? I'm like, yeah, you would cry like a little girl and probably mess yourself. That's what you would do if it's really happy. The guy with the hook came out of the shadow.
Yeah.
Come on. But yeah, this is a great film. What I've seen, it's fun. It's a fun film. This reminds me of being a kid and going to the drive-in as a teen with my friends. This was the type of movie we would go see. We would search out this type of movie. And, I know I'm an old man now, but there's a lot of teens out there that probably still are going to be, little tip, any of the fellas listening out there, and I'm sure Simon will vouch for this as well. If you take a gal on a date, take her to a horror movie. It's guaranteed.
Definitely showing your age there for sure. I don't know if they do that anymore. People are so afraid of offending people. But you're absolutely right. Obviously,
just saying. It's like bringing a guitar to a party. You know what I mean? People are going to talk to you. It's just
exactly. Here's my problem though. I get scared by horror movies.
Really?
On my own. Like I find them terrifying experiences. Like, I mean, I like it, but I do find it terrifying. It does. Like, I'm there kind of like with my fingers in my head, I do find it. But
and I don't mean this any disrespectful way whatsoever. but I've seen some of your press pictures, Simon. You're kind of intimidating. You're the guy that, um, you
Wow.
go to, I remember being a teen, you go to some gal's house to pick her up for a date. And then, you're the dad that opens the door. You're not going on the date. You're like, never mind, wrong house.
I'm a lovely in real life. You have the movie persona. So on the movie
Sure.
persona, yes, it's fun that's my escapism. I was like, people will sometimes watch stuff and they go, yeah, you're very mean in that movie. Very mean to that girl or whatever. Jen will be like, well, yeah, I mean, if the script said to be mean, like sort of,
Right. You're doing your
sort of.
job.
Somebody told me that once they saw my episode. I'm in an episode of The Witcher, and they said,
Yeah.
well, you're very mean in The Witcher. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean,
You're a
I,
bandit.
I didn't make it up. I was like, they told me what to say and what to do. Sort of, but, they go, wow, you didn't have to do it so well, did you? You were enjoying it, And I was like, I think that's what they wanted.
How cool is that? When I was a kid and I with my friends, we were nerds, we'd play Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. You got to be in that world. You know what I mean? How
Yeah,
cool is that?
It's a cool thing, man, to be in something in one of those big universes. So yeah, I did like that. To me.
Pretty neat. Now, well, it's cool. And this film, it dropped. It is out, right? The Mousetrap
It's out
is
right
out.
now. It's on video on demand. It's on DVD and Blu-ray.
Nice.
It's right here. Yes, it's it's out right now.
That's a cool poster too. Whoever came up with earning their bucks, good work.
I think it's pretty strong, pretty simple. Sort of is like just need the creepy mask. That's all you need.
Exactly. Look at Hitchcock's Psycho. Just needed that house up on the hill, and
That's it. It was intimidating. It was scary because your imagination does the rest for you.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's very cool. Now, I know we're promoting the Mousetrap, and that's great. And I want everybody to see it and whatnot. And we have links to where you can pick it up for yourself. I tell all my real hardcore horror fans all own physical media. You walk in their house, it's like you're in a library. There's just bookshelves and that's all the cool people. So anybody out there listening, if you want to be cool, pick up the physical media,
Well, for sure. Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Now, I wanted to ask you, I know we're promoting this and everything, and that's great. Are there any projects you can't? I know movie people, it's hard sometimes because T's have to be crossed and I's dotted, but I want to see more work. Is there stuff in the pipe coming?
Yeah, there's stuff coming. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
There's stuff coming. We dropped a trailer the other day for a movie called Silent Bites, which is a Christmas horror. It was a bit early to drop a trailer for Christmas, obviously, but they did anyway. Sort of, I love Christmas, so I was like, yeah, absolutely. About a bunch of bank robbers that are holding up they've held up a bank and they're laying low in a motel overnight. But the other people in the motel are a bunch of very attractive vampires.
Oh,
It's twas
that
like
happened.
and that's let's see where that goes. Boys versus girls, men versus women. I'm sure you know who wins that fight.
I love it. It's like a deranged episode of Blood Island. It's fantastic. It's crazy. No, the great thing about a horror holiday movie is because you're stuck with your family. I shouldn't say stuck. You're spending time with your family, and maybe they're at your house and you're in control of the TV, and you're like, okay, we can watch football or Silent Bites. How about this? And
this one is pretty family friendly, but it's horror, but it's not particularly gruesome. So it's not too bad.
Cool. Well, that's amazing. And it's always good news to hear people I know, thespians I know, people in the film world working, because I know it's feast of famine.
Yeah, no, and it is a bit like that. Like, so when I was a young actor, the jobs are infrequent. So the goal is people go, well, what do you want? And you're like, honestly, just keep working like consistently. Just that's the dream. That's thank God is my life right now.
Nice.
So but you have to keep it, you never know what tomorrow will bring. So yeah, I don't know.
No, you live in Ottawa. So that's, it's a plane ride to New York, plane ride to LA. Wherever.
Oh, yeah, I find that living in Canada, I like living in Canada, number one, but I end up going to the States a lot for obviously bits and pieces of work and stuff like that.
Vancouver.
There are a bunch of projects that film up here in Toronto.
Toronto. Amazing. Amazing. My family we lived in Chatham, Ontario for, I don't know, a couple years when I was a little kid. I liked it though. It was very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, well, Canada's I mean, I'm not from here. Remember, I'm from Ireland.
Right.
And I'm from Ireland, and I went to I moved a bit in my life, so I actually was raised in London. I went to drama school in London and stuff like that. But I
Nice.
was a small little boy until 10 years old in Ireland, and then moved to the big city, London, England, and then moved. So I moved around. I've seen a few places, and I'll tell you that Canada is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
It's
Sure.
fantastic. We wound up moving from Canada to Detroit, where I basically grew up. And I'll tell you, it was like going through a portal or something. You cross that from Windsor over to Detroit. In Windsor, the birds are out chirping. People were nice to each other. And this was in the 80s, of course. I hear it's different now. Get a lot of emails from people. Quit putting Detroit down. All I'm going to preface it. When I was there, you would cross from Windsor over to Detroit. There would be cars burning, people standing around a 55-gallon drum with a fire in it. It was kind of rough. But yeah, that's cool, man. Well, Mousetrap, I want everybody to see it. Like I said, it's out, and you can check this out, and it's amazing. Matter of fact, what I would suggest, go over to IMDb. We got a link up. Go to Simon's page, and you can see all the stuff he's been in and done. And just have a Simon Phillips Film Festival night. Invite all your friends over.
I mean, yes, yeah.
There you go.
I fully support this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody should support independent film. When we all went through the pandemic, I'll tell you, I ran out of big Hollywood movies pretty quick to watch and be entertained by. Independent film.
Yeah, I think that the movies were which was ironic as well, because it was very hard to work in movies during that phase, because you can't work from home on movies, so it was very tough to work in that thing, and yet it was the consumption rates of stuff in those things. People rinsed all of the Netflix library, the Amazon library, people watched everything because they were stuck at home, so every night was a movie night for a couple of years there.
Absolutely. All the elder people I know, before the pandemic, they're like calling us up. Can you guys tell us how to work the Roku or how to do this?
Yeah.
Or after the pandemic, it's like they're all hackers or something. Man, they're down with that. They have it all figured out.
They got it all figured out. Well, they had to. That's necessity of that, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, I see the things blinking, Simon, and I always like to give people a couple minutes beforehand, have a smoke, get a cup of coffee, whatever.
I do need a second coffee for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. My wife saw me to cut back. I'm up to a pot a day. It's too much, but there's too many things to do. Anyway, good luck with everything. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show. We really appreciate it. 3 cheers for Annie, the PR guru that she is.
Yeah, the guru.
Putting all that together. And being patient with me while I figure out Zoom. Very cool. I can't wait to see more of your work. Keep doing it. And you know this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You're real, real good at what you do.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I don't know if it's true, but it's very kind.
Have a good one, Simon.
Thank you.
This has been pop art painter Jamie Roxx's Pop Roxx Radio Talk Show. It has been executive produced by Jamie Roxx, recorded at his studio in Deerfield Beach in South Florida. All rights reserved by Pop Roxx Limited. Hannah Oli, Pop Roxx Radio. Estás escuchando Jamie Roxx de Pop Roxx Radio. Manténganse al tanto.
Hej, det här är Hicks från Sverige och ni lyssnar till Pop Roxx Radio med Jamie Roxx.